Hello, what's going on, everyone? It's your girl, Camille Prosperity, out of Savannah, Georgia. And quick disclaimer, nothing I say in this video is going to be for legal advice at all. I am not an attorney. I'm not in the legal profession. So I'm strictly talking to you as a country girl, sharing my experiences and talking about things that other people have shared. Hello, thank you all for joining. And I'm gonna go ahead and I prayed before this broadcast right here. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I prayed before this one right here. A lot of y'all are gonna unsubscribe. That's fine. I've never been someone to do stuff based on popular opinion or and I'm not gonna start doing that now. And that's just the way I roll. So I titled this quite simply on Facebook, child support and consumer protection laws, consumer rights laws. Now, a lot of you may have jumped in here like, ooh, great, I've been waiting on this. No, you haven't. I'm going to go ahead and let you know right now. Hey, what's going on, Sister V? Good to see you. But I'm going to go ahead and let you know right now, if you are here for me to tell you about how to get out of your child support using consumer protection laws, that's not what this broadcast is going to be about. So you can go ahead and log off. You can call it clickbait. You can whatever you want to do. That's perfectly fine with me. Hey, Jamoris. And again, if you think that this is going to be me like male bashing, if you've watched me long enough, then you know that's not what I'm about. This is not about men versus women, fathers versus mothers. This is about whoever has primary custody of the child versus whoever does not. And in case many of you who do not know, in case many of you don't know this, but nowadays in 2022, because we're not living in the caveman era, there are both single moms and single dads. So whoever has primary custody of the child, okay, versus who doesn't, that's what this discussion is going to be about. Let me go to my notes because seriously, I had to really jot some stuff down to keep me on task. And let me just tell y'all this. In the last 24 hours, 7 people, I had to make sure I had 7 up. 7 people have messaged me about, hey, Roderick, have messaged me about getting out of child support. I don't know what I did to get that type of response in such a compressed time frame, but something must have happened. I don't know. Now, 2 of those people said they need to get out of child support because they're too behind and they'll never catch up, so they need to get out of it. 3 of those people were like, my kids are grown, so I mean, I don't understand. And then 2 people didn't give a reason. Let me tell y'all this. I started down this whole consumer rights, consumer law thing because of the bureau bullies. And one thing that I really admire the bureau bullies for is this. Brother Umar, I remember him saying like somebody, because no matter what you're talking about, people are going to ask you about what they want to ask you about. So somebody asked him, hey, how do I get out of child support using the consumer the consumer protection laws? And Brother Umar was like, I don't know, because I take care of my kids. I'm going to repeat that. He was like, I don't know, because I take care of my kids. Okay. Let that sizzle in your spirit, like Country Wayne said. Now, Sister Renee is also in the Bureau Bullies. She's low-key, so I hope she doesn't mind me saying her name. But Sister Renee is also in the Bureau Bullies. And I remember people asking her on her live, hey, how do I use the consumer protection laws to go against my landlord? And then she would like, cause you know, I'm tired of paying rent. And if all my bills are paid, if the government paid all my bills, and there is no debt, you know, I'm not supposed to have debt, then how do I go about getting out of this with my landlord? And Sister Renee would try to help people, but then she would be like, hold on. When she found out the person was talking about Miss Jenkins, right? Basically another consumer, she would be like, hold on, that's not what we're doing here. We're not using consumer protection. We're not consumers fighting consumers. We're supposed to be consumers fighting the system. banks, lenders, the crooks, big corporations. You're not supposed to use the consumer protection laws to get out of your rent, and your rent is Miss Jenkins. Your landlord is Miss Jenkins. Your landlord is a single mom who got like an investment, or a single parent who got an investment property to try to help bring some extra income in. Your landlord is a college student who got into real estate because they never want to work a job. That's not what we're doing here. We're not consumers going against consumers. We're supposed to be consumers going against the system. So I say, bring it, and yeah, that's how they rolled, and I really respected that, because that's not popular opinion, right? Hey Michelle, hey Simone, but that's not popular opinion, but that's really ultimately what is right. Now you live in a huge apartment complex, yeah. Go to the Secretary of State for your state. Look up the apartment complex name. Find out who the DBA is, and you want to do some stuff. And it's not easy. By the way, it's not easy. But if that's what you want to do, knock yourself out against the big corporations. But another consumer. So, I really love that about the Bureau bullies. That they teach these consumer laws. And in case y'all do not know, when you're doing these laws, like we haven't even gotten into the part where we talk about how spiritual the laws are, but there are some, there are some connections on a spiritual level between these laws and credit, and that would blow your mind. Okay, now that's not the sexy stuff, so y'all don't want to talk about that. But understand this: if you got a bad mind and you got a bad spirit, and bad intentions, it's going to be really, really hard for you to enforce these laws, for you to get these laws and enforce these laws. It's going to be super hard for you to get these laws and enforce these laws. So, and that's, like I said, that's a whole nother lesson. But again, the Bureau bullies, that's like my foundation with the consumer protection laws, and that's where they teach from. Now, I'm going to tell you why I say this. Like somebody was telling me, well, it shouldn't matter because, hey, Tyra, somebody was like, it shouldn't matter because, this is not natural law. Child support is not natural law. Well, let's talk about natural law. Because I agree with you. We should be able, if two people can come together and a man can insert his manhood into a woman's womanhood and they can make a whole child, I agree with you. They should be able to duke it out amongst themselves and do things in the best interest of the child. However, how many of y'all know that's not always the case? So when you speak about natural law, is it natural for two people to create a child and only one person to raise it? Is it natural for a lot of the things that we see going on nowadays to occur where only one person bears the brunt of the responsibility and the other person is just footloose and fancy free? Is that natural? Okay. I would hope that y'all will agree that it's not. And in those situations, I'm going to let y'all know, in case you do not know, the custodial parent, again, I'm not saying the mom. I'm saying the custodial parent always is going to bear way more responsibility, way more, it's going to cost them way more for that child than the non-custodial parent. Just this year alone, I done spent over $100 and dang on clear book bags for my son because he keep busting it up. Can I call Max and be like, you don't need another book bag now? He don't care. Am I going to send my child to school with his books falling out of his book bag every time he busts up? And y'all know how boys are on stuff. Am I going to send him to school with his books falling out of his book bag? No, I just have to figure it out. When my son's friends have birthdays, do you think I can call my ex and be like, Eho wants to get a $20 toy. Where's your $10? No. But in the run of a year, if he got 5 or in a month, because these kids be making friends like who knows what. If he got 5 friends that got birthdays, that's $100 if my son wants to spend $20 on a gift. And how many of y'all, and I'm not saying I have to do these things. What I'm simply saying to you is that there are everyday expenses that come up when a child is in your face that if you do not have the child, you never have to worry about. Ever. So, and again, this is custodial parent versus non-custodial parent. Because I want y'all to understand that women do pay child support too. There's a YouTuber, and I love that she documents. She has a huge following, and I love that she documents. She has some kids, they're boys. When her boys got older, she and the father were able to come to an understanding, and they agreed, hey, the boys would be better off with you. They need male guidance. The boys would be better off with you. So she gave primary custody of the boys to her ex-husband, and she pays child support. And guess what? When her YouTube following went up, he petitioned the court and got her to pay more child support, and she pays it. And she documents it. Now, I will say this. That is very rare because for some reason, from my experience, I actually know quite a few men who are single parents. But from my experience, a lot of times when men get the custody of the children, they don't get child support from the mother. I don't know why. I don't know if it's an ego thing. I don't think it's right. I think if two parents create a child, both parents should pay for that child. Their equal share. But for some reason, a lot of men don't go get child support, and that's just their decision. But there are some who do. So there are women out here who pay child support too, in case y'all do not know. All right. Now, what was I going? I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm talking about this. The reason why I'm talking about this, it's not just the natural law thing. There's somebody who's like, well, I heard there was y'all don't understand when you're talking about this stuff. Y'all say, why don't more people talk about this stuff? It's because they can't. Do y'all understand that freedom of speech is not as free as it used to be? Do y'all see all the censorship that's going on around? A lot of times y'all don't, because you're not privy to it, because you're just consuming content. But if you were producing content, then you would understand. So you have to be careful with YouTube, with the social media platforms, how you phrase certain things, because they don't want certain things said. So it's not just the natural law thing. It's also some, how can I say this? People have made the argument, well, I shouldn't have to pay because I heard there's an account that the minute my child was born, that account has money for them. Okay, let's say let's tap into that. All right, let's explore that. If you've been studying this for any length of time, you know it's not just for your child; it's also for you. It's for anybody, right? There is a lot of funds available for us, but we have to know how to access those funds. A lot of times we do not know. We're not taught, right? This stuff is not talked about, and the crooks are so used to crooking us that they even when we're on the right path, we get the runaround. It's heavy on here in TikTok. What's going on, bro? My little bro? Okay, what's going on? I've been meaning to talk to you, but anyway. Let's say that is true. You shouldn't have to pay because there is money put aside for your child. Well, here's my thing. And this is where my video where I was talking to the women and I was saying, women, get it together. You need to follow the men's lead. When I go and take these courses, for those of you who do not know me, maybe this is your first time ever seeing my video. I have spent buku money on both formal education and informal education. More than 6 figures because I did it. More than 6 figures getting my bachelor's and my master's degree. And I have spent literally some of y'all's salary paying private people that y'all don't even know about for courses, mentorships, coaching, things of that nature in various areas. In the consumer protection space, I'm not going to say how much I've spent in a year, but trust me, it's a pretty penty. Okay? And then, Hey, your first time you found me on YouTube was last night. Wow, and you already found me on Instagram. Good for you. Thank you for being here. But y'all, here's the thing that I see in my consumer protection classes, in my consumer protection coaching, in my consumer protection groups, private groups. You know why they're private? Because there's certain information that people will never get on and share publicly for free. They're only going to be behind closed doors. They're only going to be in the private Zooms. They're only going to be in a platform somewhere in the underworld. Because that's just the way it is. You got to buy your seat at the table. And if you really want it, you'll do it. I'm one of those people, I really want it, so I did it, right? So I see in a lot of these classes that they're mostly men in these classes. In the consumer laws, in the consumer protection, it's mostly men. Very few women. Very, very few women. Now, why is that, Kim? That's for a number of reasons. A number of reasons, which I'm not going to go too heavy into right now, but just know this. I'm going somewhere with this. If you, and every time in those classes, when the subject of child support comes up, it's always somebody like, oh, I've been waiting on this. And here's my deal. If you are really doing this for the right reasons, meaning you don't feel like it should be on your credit, you don't feel like you should be penalized, you don't feel like the system should dictate to you what you do or how you provide for your child, then I would hope that you would speak to the other parent and say, hey, listen, I found this great information and it's going to set both of us free and help us to provide for our child as we should be able to. Come with me, or let me access the funds for you so that you can so that we both can focus on parenting like it's supposed to be instead of fighting about finances. But what I see is that oftentimes people who are behind in child support somehow came up with the thousands of dollars to be in this class with me. And then the person who has their children, I'm saying person, I didn't say the woman, right? The person who has their children is not in the class. So you're trying to figure out how to get out of child support. Meanwhile, the person that you pay child support to has no clue what's going on. Who loses in this scenario? Most times. Who loses in this scenario? The damn child, class. No. I'm still going to pay my child. Well, then why wouldn't you do it? Let me tell y'all something. There are very few people who want to fight the courts. Very few people. I've been to court. It ain't a fun place to be. If you go as an adult to the other parent of your child, you say, hey, let's work this out together. There are very few people who would say, no, I want to fight you in court. I want to go through the hassle. There are very few. And oftentimes when you go to court, it might not even work out like how you think. So if you are, what usually happens though, is that you got two people, maybe one still in love with the other one, maybe one is trifling as hell, maybe the other one is ratchet as hell, and they're playing Quien es más macho, and they're doing battle. And the kid is caught in the middle. And let me tell y'all why I'm so mad right now. I am mad. I am pissed. I am mad because I am privy to certain experiences that y'all ain't privy to. When I worked in DeKalb County, which is in Atlanta, Georgia, which is not poor, but it's not the best zip code in Atlanta. It's not the best county in Atlanta. And when I worked in DeKalb County, and I saw kids that looked like me, and I wasn't a teacher, I was an administrator, right? So I wasn't with them in class every single day, but I was over a program for a lot of these kids. And I would bond with the kids. Why? Because I talked to them just like those kids taught me how to talk to you. I can go to those kids and be like, hey, what's your goal? What's your goals for the future? They didn't have no goals for the future. They were like, I want to be a basketball wife. I want to be a rapper. And I had to really come down on their level and talk to them in plain English and bond with them and get them to trust me and get them to like me so that I could even impart some knowledge on them to say, hey, I want more for you. And I know you don't think it's possible, but here's how it is. Those kids taught me how to talk to you. And I loved those kids. But the reason why I got out of education is because, well, it's a number of reasons. First of all, people that are dealing with today's kids are not paid enough, but it just was emotionally taxing on me to be in. I did not even realize how many kids drop out of school in Georgia. I had no clue. My mom was a single parent. She raised 3 kids, but my mom bust her ass working multiple jobs. And this is back in the day when you pick your kids up from school, you bring them to work with you. Every day was bring your child to work day, okay? We went to all of my mom's jobs and sat in the back in the stock room until she was done. And then we went home. My mom bust her butt. And she provided for us. We were in private school most of our lives. because she thought that was the best. So although my mom struggled, I guess you could say I was privileged. Dropping out of school was never an option for me. My mom did not take her lack of financial resources and say, hey, the minute you turn 15, Kim, go to work and give me your whole check. So I couldn't comprehend being in the high school system. And okay, I see Jamari this week, and then next week, where's Jamari? So then I'm calling Jamari's cell phone, like, where are you at? Why are you not? And I'm fussing at him. And he's like, Miss Carmen, I dropped out. What you mean you dropped out? He dropped out. Why? Because he's going to work to pay bills in the house, because although he's a child, he's assuming a man's role in providing for the family. The hell? How are you taking on the food? My mom is on disability, and I'm the oldest of 4. I have to go to work. We got to pay these bills. What do you mean? So my point to you is, when parents don't parent, when they don't do what they're supposed to do, the child loses. And some of y'all out here who flapping your gums so much on the internet, talking about these fast ass girls on Instagram, showing their butt for a dollar. These girls out here, half of these girls are just looking for love or looking for some male attention because they ain't getting it at home, because maybe the father isn't present, or that maybe the mother isn't present, and they didn't have a proper woman to show them how to not show their butt literally on Instagram. But you sitting up here judging them. You don't know damn thing about them. But you so pissed at your baby mama. You so pissed at your baby daddy that you out here fussing with them over money. Y'all don't even understand. You can definitely relate. Y'all don't, but see, most people can't. Because you live your life in your own little bubble. You're not aware of like I said, I was not aware. I'm not casting a stone at you. I wasn't aware until I got that position in DeKalb County. And this was a regular thing. Mothers calling me saying, I can't find my son. Can you please call him? And then I call at midnight. I'm at home with my damn child. At that time with my husband, and here I am calling a young man that I have rapport with. He picks up the phone for me. Why are you not picking up the phone for your mom? He's mad at the mom because basically he is mad that he's had to assume a parental role in the house, and he's mad at the mom. Doesn't even know the dad, and it went the other way too. I remember there was a father who was a preacher doing everything for his children. In his case, it wasn't a deadbeat mom, but the mom died. And the children struggled with the death of their mother, and it fell on the father. And he was at his wit's end. He didn't know what to do. Here's my point, guys. When you are raising a child, stop sitting up here talking about, what's going on, Dante? Stop sitting up here talking about, it don't cost that much to raise a kid. Now, are there some instances nowadays where people have completely abused the system? Yes. And I'm not for that either. But when you say it don't cost that much to raise a kid, half the time you don't know a damn thing about how much it does cost to raise a kid. Because there are costs associated that are not financial. It's right now 2:35. In a few minutes, I got to go pick up my son. Then guess what? We don't have karate today, but we do have it on the other days. Okay, after that, I have to do homework with him. I have to make sure he is up on certain things. When my son goes to school in the morning, he calls his father. His father's in bed, chilling. And he doesn't have any other children, so he can be in bed chilling. But what I'm saying is we both created this child, but every single day, when Eho has to go to school, come back from school, go to karate, all that stuff, it falls on me. And I'm going to tell y'all, because there are some people like, well, you out, because I saw somebody make this comment. I wish y'all women would get out here and hustle and get their stuff together like you. Excuse me, sir. Hush. Excuse me, sir. hush. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, if anybody lies to you and says it is easy studying these consumer protection laws, 'tis not. This time last year, I was living with my mother, okay? And I'm thankful that I had a mother who could hold me down after the divorce and say, yes, you can come into the house and stay. You and your son can stay here. You and my grandson can stay here. I'm thankful that I had a good mom. But do you know how many people I know, their mom is on drugs, their mom is dead, their parents are nowhere to be found. So they don't have that support system. Do you get it? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? So don't cast judge. Don't be so quick to talk about people because your ass might be in this situation one day. And there are so many circumstances that go into what a person can. And I'm thankful that I have a coach who always reminds me, Kim, you better humble yourself and never forget where you came from. Never forget when you drove Uber and Lyft. And when I was driving Uber and Lyft, I wasn't bopping my head to the latest and greatest Cardi B or hip hop. I look like a straight old person right now, but I was listening to consumer protection stuff. I was listening to stuff to help me improve my credit. I was listening to stuff to help me better communicate. I was listening to stuff to help me learn about digital marketing. I was day, night, shower speaker, pillow speaker, all the time. My mom would take my son and she would go outside and plant trees with him just so I could study. But some people didn't have that. There are plenty of single parents who do not have the village that I have. So you can't pass judgment and say, I wish more women would empower themselves like you. Don't do that. Don't do that. I got one kid. Some of y'all out here got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I cannot imagine. My head hurts if I even think about that. Because kids are not pets, y'all. They're not somebody that all you have to do is buy food, groom them, and buy some clothes. Hell to the no. When I had that, when I got divorced, my son went through hell mentally. He had to mentally, my mom and I went through hell with a young man who saw his parents constantly fighting, calling the cops, things my son shouldn't have seen. And guess what? I have come to a place, and it's thanks to a bunch of good people that I have around me, but actually a good man, because again, this is not a man or woman thing. I have a male friend. He's not on child support. You know why? Because he has the capacity up here. He went to his child's mother and said, we can do this. He has his child 3 days this week, 4 days next week. And when the mother still has him, because he has the resources, he does what's right for his child. And even though he's not on child support, he still pays for stuff for the kid. Because ultimately he understands it's about his son. And he's younger than me. And he told me, he said, Kim, it took me a long time to get to this place with her. He said, I pray for not only her, but also the man that she's with right now, because they're both in the house with my child when my child is with them. That's the level of, you want to talk about natural law? You want to talk about stepping up and talking about how things should be? That's how it should be. And because of him, and every time I talk to him, he just has a peaceful presence. He's a man that can command your respect and attention without yelling, without ignorance. He's always, and I'm like, man, how are you so cool? And he's like, man, I just stay rooted. I pray to God. I ask him to control my tongue. And ooh, y'all don't understand. And right now, I want the same thing for my ex. I want my ex, he's engaged. I don't know who she is. I know she doesn't bother my son, so that's all I care about. But I want him to treat her right. Why? Because I want my son to see his father treating some woman right. Because that's going to increase the probability that my son is going to treat his future wife right. He needs to see it from his father, just like he needs to see certain things from me. Right? I can't be out here in a damn cat suit every day trying to get my second husband, trying to catch a man. Then when my son bring home some hoochie coochie mama, now I got an attitude with him. Hell no, that's what I showed him. I'm missing the comments. That's what my pops thinks with my little bro. I gotta talk to you. Same here, got divorced and never had to have court tell either of us how to be responsible for our dog. Yeah, and that's how it should be. That's how it good for you. Oh my gosh, good for you. That's how it should. And I have another male friend. His wife cheated on him. He came home, found her in the bed with somebody else. If that ain't foul as hell, I don't know what is. And despite that, he still wanted to work on his marriage. Didn't work. Despite that, he never penalized this man can do his daughter's hair. He can cook. It's just like, who the hell are you? He does everything. He has the same arrangement as my other male friend. 3 days the kids are with me this week. 4 days they're with me the next week. And he does the same thing as my other friend. Even when the kids are with the mother, if the mother really needs something, he still pays half. He's not on child support. He doesn't have to do that. But it's what's right for the kid. It has nothing to do with the fact that she cheated on him. Nothing to do with that fact. We're not animals out here, y'all. We're not having kids and leaving them in the wild for them to fend for themselves. We're responsible for these children. And these children are going to create children, right? And what we're doing here right now, this is going to lead to what they do. I would love to speak to you. Okay. Preparing you for this time. I wish you would talk about my situation. And y'all, let me be very clear on this too. There are some situations with child support. There's this one state, I cannot remember the source. I think this was from the lead attorney. I read a lot of stuff, and sometimes if I'm not referring back to my notes, I get stuff all jumbled up in my head. Sorry. But there was this state, and this broke my heart too. Child support is divisive. Let's be clear on that. The courts do pay you. They do play us. You have to file. You have to petition for child support. What the hell is the money going for? Paperwork? You got to be crapping me. You got to be crapping. It don't cost no $50 to file this damn paper. Get out of my face. They play us, and their states do things differently. I read this report, and it is horrible, okay? I read this report, and it was horrible because there was this one state, and they were taking the child support out of the non-custodial parents' check. And I think one example, I lie to you not, one example was like they were taking $600 out. Well, by the time it trickled down, the $600 had to go through the court though. So by the time it got to the custodial parent, the parent who had the child, the $600 had dwindled down to like $100. So now the person with the child is like, you only paying me $100. Like it got to the point where they were telling the other, you only paying me $100 a month. And they were like, what are you talking about? I'm paying $600. And that person was like, so the parents are fighting, and it was a long time before they found out. The court had their hand in the pot. The court taking $500 of the $600, and only $100 is going down to the kid. So yes, it would be great if we all could get our shit together and come together and say, you know what? We created this kid. I don't care if it was a 10-year marriage or a 10-minute one-night stand. We created this kid. Who cares how I feel about you? Let's do what's right for the child. Okay? And then operate from that standpoint. Because when you involve the courts, yes, the courts win. But let me tell you something else, friend. When you leave no choice but for a person to involve the courts, because the majority of people that I know, they have the maturity to talk things out like adults. They're not going to court anymore. And their relationship is a lot more peaceful. And their children are having less issues, fewer issues. You're supposed to be co-parenting. But some of y'all want to practice no parenting. Not if money is owed to the state and public assistance, the state would snatch that money. Yeah, there's all types of things going on, y'all. There's all types of things going on. But the bottom line is, the whole point of me doing this is me, and I'm just going to be very honest with y'all. If you want me to tell you how to get out of child support with consumer protection laws, I'm not the person. I am not the person for that. I have an emotional bias that will not allow me to allow, and I'm not saying everybody, but most people are doing it strictly they want to screw their kids. and they won't admit it. They'll be like, no, she doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, or he gonna spend it on his new girl. Hey. You can't dictate what the person does with the money. But if you were not man or woman enough to not have to go to court for child support in the first place, then at this point, I don't want to, because I've seen the long-term effects of how it plays out with the children having to bear the financial load of the house, of the custodial parent, because I've seen that. Yeah, I'm not even into it. I know of a young lady who was in my, what was she like? She was like in 10th grade. She was in 10th grade. She was, let's just say, pimping herself online for money for men because her dad was on disability. And she trying to keep up with her friends. She trying to keep up with society. She trying to keep up with social media showing her. So she's out here, a 10th grader, entertaining grown men. And I don't have any proof of anything. I'm just hearing things. She's always denying. No, I'm not. No, but all her friends are telling me, and I'm just like, this is not my job description. But when you're dealing with kids, you do a bunch of stuff that's not your job description. But it was emotionally draining for me to see. Wow, that hurts my heart. And what hurts even more, Latasha, I could go on and on. Y'all don't even understand. I would have these kids in class. They would be talking about the R word like it was nothing. They would be putting themselves in situations with adults because they're looking for that parental figure who's not in the home. For whatever reason. And so, when we talk about getting out of our responsibilities, that's a very sore subject for me. I don't want y'all to all write in and tell me like, well, my situation is different. I'm gonna be honest with you. That energy, just hearing all of y'all stories, it drains me. It drains me because my heart does break for some of y'all. So there are people who've gone to jail, and I do. This rabbit hole goes so damn deep, man. It goes so damn deep. And let me tell y'all something about the whole jail thing too. I have been on mentor. Do y'all know? I took this mentorship last year, and I lied to y'all not. There were 5 guys in jail on the damn mentorship with me. There was a guy in jail who had done a whole ebook and was selling it and sending the money back, having the money routed to the child's mother. There was a guy on the mentorship. I couldn't even believe it. That was the whole reason why I took the mentorship, because I was like, this boy got people in jail on this mentorship and they starting businesses? Man, if that wasn't the definition of where there's a well, there's a way. I mean, y'all don't even understand. I didn't even know that you could do that in jail. I didn't know. I'm still thinking jail is like clink, clink. No, man. Apparently jail is on TikTok. Apparently there's a jailer who did a jail fashion show. Jail ain't the jail that I know. Well, I don't know it, but I'm not even going to perpetrate to y'all. I'm not. What mentorship is that? Message me and I'll tell you. It was. I think he changed the name. It's Trapper's Way Out, but I think he changed. No, it used to be Credit Kingpin, and yeah, he changed it to Trapper's Way Out. Thank you, God, for coming. And that's why it's called Trapper's Way Out, because that guy specifically targets people that have been trapping, people who feel like there's no way out. And he says, let me show you a better way. And I admire him for that, because that's mostly the people that society throws away. That's mostly, and y'all don't even understand. There's so many reasons that people go in jail. And I'm so thankful to my mom. When I say she used to hustle, one of her hustles is singing. My mom quit being a singer because she got pregnant with me. And as a child, that was her part-time thing. She'd go work this job, go work that job. Then at night she would sing and say, hey, listen, I got to bring my 3 kids. One of the places that she sang at, she would do a Christmas concert every year at the jail cell. She would do a Christmas concert every year at the jail cell here in Savannah. And as a child, I remember going to jail with my sister and brother as my mom sang Christmas carols to people in jail. And sitting there on the front row. The first time I was scared to death because we were in the front row. There was jailers literally on the second row. I was like, but guess what? When the concert was over, and then, yes, we did talk to the prisoners. And they talked to us about not doing the things that landed them there. And everybody wasn't, of course, y'all know there's different degrees of jail, right? So these weren't people that were like, people that were RN people. These were like theft, drugs, and I had that experience as a child. So I don't judge. If somebody has a record, I don't judge them. I mean, I need to know what your record is for. I'll put it like that. I need to know what your record is for now. But a bunch of people got record. But I will tell y'all this. Not all people in jail are the same. Not all people who are on child support are the same. Not all people who are not paying child support are deadbeats. Not all single women can just go out here and get it like you. No, not all single parents have a support system. Not all. There are so many dynamics that come into play, but the whole point of this, broadcast, I'm sorry I was long-winded, but then again, I am not. And if you want to unsubscribe, that is perfectly fine. And if you want to, and I'm not going to cut off the comments, because I love for people to speak their mind so that they can reveal their exact stock of either wisdom or ignorance. And then I can filter fast who I want to be around me. I love it. So I'm not going to cut off the comments. You can speak how you please. Now, if you come back to my channel and you find that you can't access it, well, if you talk crazy in these comments, can you use the consumer laws to do certain things? Yeah. But again, I am not advocating for consumers going against consumers. I will only talk about, and this is my last time addressing this, I will only talk about consumers going against the big corporations, the systems, the this. Please, y'all, and I'm just going to tell y'all, please, I know it is hard. There are some women out here doing some things I see that I do not like. There are some men out here doing some things I see that I do not like. But if you have children, please pray for the mother or the father of your child, and God knows, pray for whoever they are with. Because we didn't even get into these people who want so badly to have somebody to help them. They just letting any damn body in their home, and these people touching on these children. We didn't even get into that. If y'all have children, please pray for the mother of your child, the father of your child, and everybody who comes into contact with your children. Because I have spoken to these children. It's not a game. It's not funny. It's not cute. The crap I see going on, that these children are being taught by their elders, watching your example. It's not funny. I feel so much guilt because my ex-husband and I let finances divide us. And we let the enemy get a foothold in our household to the point where we couldn't work things out and we had to call the cops, and our son saw that. I feel so much guilt because post-divorce, I saw how that played out with at that time, he was 7 years old. I saw how that played out. See? We had a whole scenario where my mom would take off work and go to the school. I was getting called to the school every single day. My son acting out. My ex didn't have to deal with none of that. See, I couldn't, and I thank God that I pushed everybody who made fun of me when I was doing all these things that I'm doing. Why doesn't Kim just use her degree and get a real job? I thank God I didn't go get a real job, because when my son was going through that and I was getting called to the school every single day, I didn't ever have to ask a boss, hey, I need time off. Like I said, studying all this stuff that I study, there's no way I could do it with a job. I'm talking to somebody this week. He said when he found out about this consumer protection stuff, he quit his job, and he's a stay-at-home dad. And he said he quit his job to study 10 to 12 hours a day. He's seen results. He's seen the fruits of his labor because of that. But how many people can do that? How many people can do that? So y'all, this is not a game. Okay, Dante. Oh, you still here, Dante? I know you got things to do. Y'all don't know Dante. Y'all should know Dante, but I have put y'all on to him and Be Better. I have shared their content. This is somebody who takes this stuff seriously. If y'all want to do this, take it seriously. Don't be half in. Don't be half out. Don't be calling people talking about, I'm about to be evicted tomorrow. What can you tell me? The best thing I can tell you is pack up all your stuff securely. Because ain't nobody working miracles over here or nowhere. All right? Take this stuff seriously. Start today so that when you need the laws, you got the knowledge to and you got the power to enforce them. I got to go get my kid. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. Whatever. I'll talk to y'all later.